So if you are looking for an episode to listen or to watch that really connects you with your deepest part, with your most transcendental self, with your most beautiful self, with your most creative self, with your most compassionate self, with your most intelligent self, with your most conscious self, look no more. Look no more, my friend. This is it. This is the end of the road for you. In this episode, you will acquire a lot of spiritual wisdom that will help you to dominate your journey if you apply what you will be learning today. I guarantee you that. So, this episode, it was not the one that I have on my agenda for today, but a couple of things happened that made me uh, to do this today. So, what happened was for today, I have planned this other episode that is called "Burn in the Fire of Reality," the fully explained episode. That was the one that was about uh, to be released today. But something happened, and that is that yesterday I recorded the first part of this episode. So this is a two-part episode, and the first part it is called "Discover Your Constitutional Values." And in that episode, I explain everything that you need to know in order to connect and to discover and to express and to manifest your core being in life, what we can call constitutional values. But then I realized that I did something wrong in that episode and I forgot to mention a concept that I have been developing in this area that I call constitutional values engineering. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot that part. I have it on my sticky note with my bullet points, but I don't know why I just skip it. So I was like, oh my gosh, one of the most important ideas of the whole podcast that I discussed yesterday is missing. So what can I do about it? So this other episode that is called Divine Constitutional Values, I had it on my agenda, but for the future, maybe like for 1 or 2 or 3 months ahead of time. But I decided to do it today because by doing it today, I can reconnect with the idea of yesterday and we can just get it done and we don't lose any more time. So it's very important for you to listen to the first part. Yes, you will understand this part, this episode, without necessarily listening to the first one. But if you are one of the crazy ones, if you are one of the people that really wants depth, that really wants to go very deeply in your own personal development work, in your personal expansion journey, well, consider to listen to the first part because in the first part that I will repeat, it is called Discover Your Constitutional Values. You can search for that in my Spotify station or in my YouTube channel, Dr. Derek Israel. In the first part, I explained to you what is the difference between a value versus a principle versus a constitutional value. There's some difference that you need to know and to master before really starting to mastering divine constitutional values. So that is the first stage for you. All right. So make your decision. You can continue listening to this, or you can go there and listen first the other episode, and then When you have time, you come back to this one. It is not going anywhere, I hope, and you can then finish the two parts mini series. It's not a mini series, but it's a two-part series. Yeah, it's kind of a mini series, I guess. So yeah, that is what is going on now. Um, this episode will help you to find a transcendental meaning in your life, to find some mystical nucleus of power in your life. This episode will help you to align with your integrity and will help you to become whole. Now, is this the only episode that you need to watch in your life? Is this the only idea that you need to implement in your life in order to achieve those results that I am telling you? No, obviously not. But at least this episode will impact your direction. This episode will serve as a foundation for your own growth. So open your heart, my friend. Open your soul, that we are about to begin one of the most profound ideas that you will ever hear in your life, in the most transformative podcast of the whole world, the bilingual, the exotic, the mystic, the favorite of the intelligent woman of the world, the favorite for the intelligent man of the world, the favorite for the intelligent intersexual beings of the world. The Mastermind Podcast today will discuss what we will discuss. Oh yeah. Divine constitutional values. So, welcome, baby, to the Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 2 with your host, Dr. Derek Israel. And this is the episode 320. And something that is funny enough, I realized that I made a mistake and I had two episodes with the same number. So I was like, what? What is this? So really, I have 321 episodes, but I just stick with the number 320 because I don't want to, mess around a lot with the numbers. So what I did with the two episodes that had the same number, I just put it one, like I don't know if it was the 307 or 310, something like that, and I just put like 310.5 or 307.5, and in that way I can stick with the same numbers that I already have. But yeah, that was something kind of bad that happened. I guess it is not terrible, but yeah, really we'd have one more episode, but we are not just going to count it. So all right, my friends, let's go and discuss today's subject. So yesterday, as I was telling you, I didn't discuss one of the most important aspects of developing a constitutional value. So if you already know what is a constitutional value, let me just remind you, a constitutional value is a value that is a core in your spirit. It is a core value in your character. It is something that you cannot negate on yourself that you cannot deny on yourself, that you cannot avoid about your own spirit. These constitutional values serves you as a foundation for your whole vibration. They transcend your psychology, they transcend your attitudes, they transcend your body, they transcend your moral systems, they transcend everything. They are the building blocks of your own individual manifestation here in reality. So that's why it's so important to understand what are your specific constitutional values. Because if you don't know what are your constitutional values, how do you think you will have direction on your life? Yes, you will have direction on your life, but it will be a cultural direction. It will be a direction that is established by institutions like the government, like your family, like school or university. It will not be a direction that comes from your epicenter, from your core, from the core of your being. And when we are talking about personal development, personal expansion, we are talking about connecting with your most intimate being, with your center, and manifesting your creativity from that. That is the process of personal development. So understanding not only your values but also your constitutional values, it is essential for this work that we are doing, for your own expansion, for your own leadership. So this is a work that you need to do. But you may be asking yourself, but Derek, there's no way that I can like create these values, because you are talking about that I need to discover them. So it sounds like they are already there, and I don't have any power to create one of them. So let's say, for example, that I discover all my constitutional values, Derek, and I discover that I have, for example, as a constitutional value, I have friendship, I have um, high quality in my production. Like I produce things that is high quality, and I value that in my core. And I also found that I have in my core value art, and I have as a core value or constitutional value physical health, and this and that and this and that. But Derek, I didn't find that I have in my constitutional values one for example, compassion, or one, for example, I don't have like God as a constitutional value. I don't find God in there, Derek. So what I do, I am screwed for life, or there is any way that I can actually create a constitutional value? Because at the end of the day, Derek, what is personal development? If it is not a continual creation of yourself. What is personal development? It is not a continuous engineering of your own personality. So if you are saying that we can only discover, you are saying that we are only passive in this process, that we only can find what we have, but that we cannot create. Derek, by saying that, you are saying that we have no power over our constitutional being, that we have no power over our nature. It is that right, Derek? So you are saying that we are living a passive life? You are saying that we are a victim of our own constitutional values? It is this personal development? It is this what you have been selling us for almost 6 years? Oh my gosh. Well, okay, my friend. So if you are having that kind of argument, let me tell you that you are on the right track. Yes, personal development is about creation. Yes, personal development is about being proactive and not conforming in life. So if a guru of a teacher, maybe me, maybe other that you are following, tell you you cannot do nothing about this, watch out. Watch out, because if I have learned something in my life very profoundly, is that you almost can do something in life for almost everything. You can do something in life for almost everything, but you need to have the right perspective on it. You need to have the right discipline, determination, initiative, and very important, commitment. So, yes, my friend, I believe that you can design or engineer constitutional values if you want to. There's no limitation for what you can do with spirit and with being. By the way, I am doing now a couple of stories for my Instagram because I want to promote this podcast in a different way. So I'm thinking, so let's do some stories on my Instagram and just putting those and sharing those. So yeah, follow my Instagram if you want to go deep with my content in Instagram. I upload a lot of things every day, every day, every day, every day. So this aspect of creating your own constitutional values, this practice of engineering your own core is what I call constitutional values engineering. And this is very profound. This is harder than just discovering. This is harder than just understanding yourself. This is recreating yourself. This is one of the most profound waters of personal development. And a lot of people will say, I do not want to do that because it's difficult. It will demand commitment from you. So, what type of constitutional values you should be engineering in your life? Well, you should be engineering those that are not natural for you, but that you consider they are very important for your further progress in your journey. So maybe you made the list that I told you yesterday to do in the last episode, in the first part of this mini series. I told you that you have a direct challenge. What was the challenge? That you need to uh, meditate and discover and write your constitutional values. So let's pretend that you already did that and you find out that you are missing, for example, you are missing service, selfless service, your capacities to serve others. And you are saying like, oh man, I don't have that. Like it's not in my core, but I value that. It is in my values, but it's not in my constitutional values, right? So, but I know that I need to serve. I know that this is so important for me because I know that I am so egoic in my nature that I need to serve in order to go in the opposite direction from my ego. And remember, if you go in the opposite direction of your ego, you go in the exact direction of your spirit. Because your ego and your spirit, they are like opposites. At the end of the day, they are the same thing. Remember, all opposites collapse in one singularity. All right? We can call that non duality or perfect conjunction. But in the world of appearances, spirituality and ego, they seems to be very far apart. So you may be saying, yes, I need to serve, but I didn't find that in my constitutional value. What can I do? Well, what you can do is a process that I call also crystallization. And for those that have been following my email list, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my email list. It's in the description below. For you that have been following my email list, do you know that I have been sending emails about this subject of crystallization. That is basically how you make something actual, how you make something tangible. So you may have the idea of becoming someone that do a lot of service in life, someone that is serving others selflessly, not thinking about himself or yourself, but is thinking about how you are helping others. But that doesn't come natural to you. What you can do? Well, you can crystallize that value. How you crystallize a value? How you engineer a value? Well, first, you need to have the intention to crystallize this. You need to have a determination to do it. And then you basically act on that value every day until that value penetrates your psychology and becomes part of your whole being. It's a very straightforward strategy. It is not something very unusual. You do what you do to master everything. If you want to master sales, what you do, you go and you study, you have the intention of mastering sales, and then you go and sell. Then you go and offer a product, you offer a service. You do this every day with consistency. And then with every feedback, you develop a better framework because every feedback serves to give you more intelligence. And then you do it again and again and again and again and again. And sometimes experience starts to transform your being. In biology, we can call that epigenetics. Is that is how the environment modify the functions of your genes. But in spirituality, we can call that spiritual epigenetics. It is how your experience, your actions, your behaviors, how those affect your spiritual constitution. You can impact. Let me repeat this because this is so important. You can impact, you can engineer your spiritual constitution. Now, your spirit has already some values, some constitutional values that is very natural for him to have. But that is not the end of the road. Life gives us the choice to choose. Life gives us the opportunity to decide. This is the beauty of life, that we are not a victim. You can design your spirit as well with a lot of work. Obviously, this is not an easy science. I have a mosquito here. It's bothering me. Bye bye, mosquito. I don't want to kill you, man. So this term about constitutional values, I just want to tell you, it is very, very, very connected with two other terms that I already discussed in the Mastermind podcast. And those are Spanish. I think that those are yeah, Spanish episodes. So if you're a Spanish speaker, you will be able to benefit from those episodes that I will recommend you. But what I will do is these ideas about what I call constitutional values, divine morality, and perfect ethics. How I call that? Yeah, perfect ethics. I think that that is the translation in English. These three concepts are very, very, very well merged together and they function like a system. So, what I will do is in the future, I will be releasing a book about these concepts and how you can develop your divine constitutional values, your divine morality, and your perfect ethics. Now, so if you want to know how those other episodes are called or are titled, these are the titles for you to search for them later. One of them is called Moralidad Divina. Derek Israel en mi canal de YouTube, Moralidad Divina. And the other one is called Ética Perfecta. Ética Perfecta. Please go and listen to those episodes because, as I said, this is a very complex system. And this system, folks, is about direction, morality, ethics, what will be integrating your life. This is your life constitution. All right. So let's compare this with a nation or with a community. A community needs a constitution, needs politics, needs moral, needs religion. Why? Why a nation or why a state need this? Because these give direction to its people. If you don't have religion, if you don't have politics, if you don't have societal values, if you don't have laws, how the hell a state that is composed of very different people, very diverse populations, how they will function together to a single aim, to a single objective, if they don't have that structure in place? It's very difficult for a state or for a community to be able to do it without that, right? Without that direction, without that structure. Well, in your life it is the same. If you don't have this type of structure, you will be aimless, you will be fragile. So I am not saying that this is the absolute truth about morality, ethics, and values. Hey, at the end of the day, these are philosophical statements that have been discussed, hey, during the whole history of humankind. At least when we invented language, we invented values and we invented moral and morality and we invented ethics. So if you read Aristotle or you read Plato or you read Marcus Aurelius or if you read Hegel or if you read Foucault, whichever philosopher you read, they will have their own paradigms around morality, values, and ethics. They will have their own. Which one is the one? Which one is the truth? Which one is the most correct one? There's no one, my friend. There is no an a perfect ethics. There is no divine morality. And you're maybe thinking, but Derek, you just said that you invented a divine morality. You just said that we need to hear the podcast about the perfect ethics. And now you are saying that they are not true? Well, they are true, but they are not truth. Do you see? They are true for me. Now, what will be true for you? I don't know. What I can do is to guide you to explore that. I have been designing my own morality for years. I have been designing and engineering my own ethics for years. And now I have been designing and engineering my own divine constitutional values for years. And that is what makes me Derek Israel and have the power that I have, and have the compassion that I have, and have the love that I have the charisma that I have, and have the life purpose that I have. And this permits me to be who I am. Now, I am sharing these ideas with you because I want you to do the same. I want you to design your own morality. I want you to engineer your own ethics. And I want you to discover and create your own constitutional values. Your own. Your own, not mine. Your own. And remember, this is what separates me from other gurus and teachers. Other gurus and teachers will always tell you, this is the truth. Follow this and you will have no problem. But why they tell you that? Because by they telling you that, they dominate weak minds and lazy minds. If you have a weak mind, if you have a lazy mind, it will be very good for you to listen other folk, other person telling you that they have all your answers. And you will say, oh, yeah, please give me that, and I will follow you forever. But notice that is not personal development, that is attachment and dependence. And of course, some of the gurus want to tell you that they have the definite truth because they can benefit more economically from you. They can sell you better the courses, they can sell you better the books, they can sell you better the events. Now, I don't care if I sell less by saying to you the truth. I want to tell you the truth. I want to tell you my truth. And my truth is that morality and ethics and values, these are your responsibility to engineer. And that's the bottom line, because Derek Israel said so. That is a stone cold line. Anyways. So, yeah. So, this is the podcast of today, how we can engineer this. And some of them that I want you to start contemplating. So, how you can engineer, how you can crystallize by acting on them. You aim to the constitutional value, and then you say, how I can adapt my daily behavior. And this is very important, daily behavior towards that value. If it is service, how can I serve every day? Where can I volunteer my time? Where can I what product can I do? What type of content can I share in the social media, in the metaverse to serve other people? And you need to ask yourself that question every day, and every day you need to do an action towards that. And then to meditate until you understand that that modus operandi, that way of being, it is not only a psychological mechanism anymore, but it's part of your spirit. You modified your spirit, your pattern of being. I remember one good definition for spirit is pattern of being. But in a metaphysical level, because if you go and study what is a personality, you also will find a very similar definition to this one of spirit. A personality is a pattern of being. the pattern of the person. What makes a person a person? That is a personality. But when I'm talking about um, your spirit, I'm talking about a metaphysical pattern. Something that if you remove your personality, it is there, although. So you may be thinking, Derek, why this is important? Why do you think this is important? Do you think it is important to know yourself? Do you think it's important to live a life of integrity? Remember, we can define integrity as an alignment between your divine morality, your perfect ethics, and your constitutional values. If you are aligning that, you have integrity in your life. And if you have integrity in your life, you have power in your life. You have spiritual power, you have love, and you have peace. So what I will do here is I'm going to be sharing with you 10, I think there are 10, let me see, and a bonus one. So it will be 11 divine constitutional values. And I say that they are divine because they have a transcendental nature on them. All right. So for the constitutional value to be divine, it needs to have a transcendental aspect on them. Very important. If you cannot find a transcendental element in that value, something that is related to the ultimate unity of reality, something that is related to the ultimate beauty of reality, maybe it's just a constitutional value, but not necessarily will be a divine constitutional value. These are, metaphysical values, values that serves to spiritualize the universe. Now, the list that I will be explaining to you, this is not an absolutist list. This is not the absolute list. This list will be ongoing forever, and I will be discovering more divine constitutional values in my lifetime. And the whole purpose of this exercise is to you to create your own divine constitutional values in order to engineer them if you don't have it as natural. Some of these values, they didn't came natural to me. I have been developing them through the years. Okay. Some of these divine values you already know, and you already may have read books about them or listened in this podcast about them because they are pretty common. But the real question that I want you to ask while you are listening is how much of that value I have in my core. And then when you find your answer, I want you to ask yourself how much of that value I really want to engineer in my core. And by doing this exercise, you will have a good framework to continue your work and personal development by integrating these divine values in your core being. All right. So let's go with the 10 divine values that I find in my own life that are very important. And I recommend you to pursue them, but also I recommend you to create your list for your own. That will be the most important part of this podcast. So the first divine constitutional value is omnipresent compassion. Omnipresent compassion. What I mean by this? Well, compassion is just, man, love in action. This is one of the core values of Buddhism. And also, Christ, he was a very compassionate man. And also, when you read the Quran, always it is referring to Allah as the compassionate Allah. So they, in the Quran, in the Muslim tradition, they attribute the compassion value to God. So because we are made from God, we also have the right to incarnate and to express the same values as God. So we are compassionate beings as well. Now, in my own life, I used to be very compassionate when I was a child. Like, I was so empathetic with animals. I was very compassionate with poor people. I, I was about to cry very easily if I saw a dead cat in the street. Or I remember one time I was crying because my mother killed how do you say, cockroach? A cockroach. Cockroach. I don't know how to say that. Let me see. A cockroach. Google, help me. Hey, Google, help me.
Cockroach.
What?
Cockroach.
Cockroach. Okay. Cockroach is more difficult than Spanish, cucaracha. So, yeah, one time my mother called a cockroach. Google, help me again. I forgot about it.
Cockroach.
What?
Cockroach.
Cockroach. Okay. One time my mother killed a cockroach, and I just cried the hell out of it. And everyone in my house was like, "What is going on there? It's just a cockroach." But it was not a cockroach, man. It was compassion. I felt the feelings of the cockroach. It's real. It's real. It's weird and real. Like, I felt the pain of that being killed because it is undesirable, because no one liked cockroach, right? And then in my life, as I start to grow and becoming an adolescent and an adult, I lost a little bit my compassion. I lost it. But then when I reconnected with Buddhism, I learned that, omnipresent compassion is fundamental to becoming enlightened and to becoming wise spiritually. And one of the facets of God is compassion. And by being compassionate, I can love. And by being compassionate, I do my best art. And by being compassionate, I can do my best work, my best magnus corpus and magnus opus. Stay very, very tuned to the Mastermind podcast, because very soon I will be explaining to you what is the magnus opus and what is the magnus corpus. Very, very important concepts if you are shooting for greatness in your life. So, yeah, ask yourself, what is your compassion level right now? How much compassion are you projecting to the world right now in your stage of life? Hey, this is just a self assessment, and you will make your decision. Do you want to make this a constitutional value? I don't know. You will decide. What I can tell you is I did that. For me, it was natural, but I lost it. I lost it. So sometimes you can lose your constitutional values. It's like you can hide them from your consciousness. And that's why my second one will be consciousness. It was actually the third one, but let's just go right into it. What we can call consciousness with a capital C. What is consciousness in a very fundamental and metaphysical way? Consciousness is light. And if you heard my episode Luminosity, what it what is spiritual light, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't heard that one, hey, make a note because that is one of the most important episodes that you need to hear in your life. What is luminosity? No, sorry, luminosity. What is spiritual light? So consciousness, it is that brings to awareness what is occult, and by bringing to awareness what is occult, we can work with that because you cannot solve things if they are occult to you, if they are hidden from you. You can only solve things that you have full awareness. That's why attention is so important for your life. I was reading a tweet that the Dr. Jordan Peterson, one of the most famous psychologists of the history of humanity, he's still alive. He wrote something like, please keep your attention in the things that you need to solve, because attention is so much important. And there is a natural tendency for us to deny and to avoid what we need to solve, because by avoiding we feel better, but that doesn't solve the issue, and you know it. By avoiding, you don't solve the issue, and you know it. So what is the alternative to avoid? To become conscious of. How can you become conscious of a thing? Well, you meditate a lot. You become self-aware. You introspect a lot. You put yourself in situations that you will be forced to knowing you. That's why I'm a very huge advocate of spiritual retreats, because I know that every time that I go to a spiritual retreat, man, I change so much. I discover so much about myself. I discover new dimensions. And I have an episode that is called Cómo programar tu retiro espiritual. Search on it if you are Spanish speaking on my YouTube channel or Spotify. So consciousness is a divine constitutional value, definitely. So are you becoming more conscious in your life? Are you doing more yoga? Are you doing more meditation? Are you doing more contemplation? Are you doing more journalism? Are you doing more karma work? Working with your own karma. Very soon we're going to be discussing about that. Those are questions that you need to answer for yourself. The next divine constitutional value is universal love. Hey, this is huge. This is so imperative. Because at the end of the day, what we can do, my friend, if it is not to love? To love everything. That is why it's called universal love. And we already have an episode that is called universal acceptance. It's in English. You can search for that. Universal acceptance. That is a synonym of universal love, because you cannot love what you don't accept. You need to accept the thing first, and then you can love it. That's why a lot of people, they don't love themselves. Why? Because they don't accept some aspects of themselves. Maybe they do not accept their sexuality, or maybe they do not accept the fact that they like LeBron James better than Michael Jordan. Or maybe they do not accept that they have a brown eyes instead of a blue eyes, or that they are white instead of black, or that they are Canadian instead of Puerto Rican. I don't know, whatever. They do not accept something about themselves, and a that is a determinant in how much they can love themselves. And as you imagine, they love very, very, very little. Another constitutional value that you may engineer, just explore if this is a good idea for you. I am not saying that all of these you need to engineer. I'm just saying, hey, these are very important. At least for me, they have worked a lot. The next one is infinite intelligence. And this one, in my case, I engineered this one. This one is not natural for me because I was very intelligent as a young man, as a child, as an adolescent, but I was not infinitely intelligent. Now, I am not saying now that I am infinite intelligent, not at least like an ego. I am not, Derek Israel is not infinite intelligent, but the substance of life is infinitely intelligent. And I am the substance of life as well. So I, not as Derek Israel, but as I, as the universe, as the divine I. Remember, what is the most esoteric phrase of all time? I am. What means I am? Means that I am the all. The all is I. We are all infinitely interconnected. That is called interpenetration. Just Google that term. And I will be doing a podcast of that term in the future. Maybe a podcast or maybe another video, another type of format, but I will be discussing that term. But just Google it. Interpenetration. That is where all phenomena in life is penetrating themselves in infinite degrees of union. It's a beautiful spiritual concept. It comes from Buddhism and Hinduism. So all phenomena and all life is interconnected in a way that everything is an infinite singularity. And because everything is an infinite singularity, everything is infinitely intelligent. Because if it was not intelligent, how reality will create everything that creates? If reality was not intelligent, how reality will evolve through time? So we can perceive that reality have a substance of intelligence in it. Also, it have a substance of creativity in it. Also have a substance of love in it. These are different aspects of the same thing. Now, by you connecting with the infinite intelligence, you will become supra inspired because intelligence will be so much for you. You will become supra intelligent. And this do not mean that you will be able to pass every exam in your university and you will be able to learn everything in the first try. No, no, this is not a fantasy. What I mean by infinite intelligence is that you can tap into the infinite intelligent mechanism of reality and you just can create forever in an intelligent way. Now you are still human, and you still have a limited number of neurons and connections, and in a way you will still forget stuff, and you will be limited intelligent, you as an ego. But you as a spirit, you can be infinitely intelligent if you engineer this divine constitutional value directly in your core. Do you think that this is a good idea? You bet it's a good idea. How do you think that I can create 520 episodes of intelligent ideas if I am not connecting with the infinite intelligence? How do you think that Albert Einstein created his theory of relativity if he was not tapping into the infinite intelligence? And he used to do it. He used to do it through sex and through nature. Just read about him. He used to have sex and think about his mathematical and physical equations, because by the art of sex you can transmute intelligence. Also, Albert Einstein used to walk in gardens just observing nature, because he thought that by observing nature he could tap what he called into the mysterious, and the mysterious aspect of the cosmos is the same as the intelligent aspect of the cosmos, because the cosmos is not dumb, right? The cosmos is supra intelligent, and you are the cosmos at the end of the day. You are made of a star dust. You are made from the same stuff that stars are made. So by definition you are infinitely intelligent, but you need to engineer this divine constitutional value for this to be one with your spirit, aka with your vibration, aka with your pattern of being, transcending your psychology, transcending your personality, and becoming this and actualizing this intelligence as your ultimate truth. And very soon I will be doing an episode called What is Truth? The next divine value that I found for my life is the selfless service. And very similar to the compassion one, I used to be very selfless, a servant, a selfless servant to others when I was a child and when I was a kid and when I was an adolescent. And then I forgot about it. And this is the hero's journey, folks. Spirituality is about forgetting about it and then reminding yourself, oh my God, I forgot, and then coming back. This is the cycle. You awake and you go back to sleep. You awake and you go back to sleep. That is why very important the consciousness as a divine constitutional value, because consciousness is the thing that will make you to awake again and again and again every time that you fall into a very deep sleep. And sleep is a synonym of becoming unconscious on the thing, unconscious on your compassion, unconscious on your life purpose, unconscious on your love, unconscious on your discipline. And if you are unconscious, you cannot dominate, because you cannot dominate what you don't know. And by definition, to be unconscious is to not know. So what happened to me is I start focusing on myself a lot when I was a young adult. I'm still a young adult, but I'm referring maybe at 19, 20 years, 21, 22. But then something really good happened. And is that I became a member of a fraternity. It is called the Phi Epsilon Chi 1943 in Puerto Rico. We are founded on Mayagüez, Puerto Rico. And in that fraternity, I had the opportunity to do a lot of altruistic work to help organizations, to feed people, to help people in natural disasters. And I felt in love with community service. And then I became president in another organization and I continued doing that. And now in my life, it is just part of my core being. I just reconnected with that. I just love to do service for other people that is not for myself. It is just so an important aspect of this work. And I am about to create a nonprofit organization as well that will help me to continue doing this selfless work. And also, another way that I carry this is through this podcast and through the videos that I share for free with you guys. So this is also my selfless work because yes, it's a business, and I have business objective with this work also. But at the end of the day, I am sharing so much for free. I am sharing so much without any type of cost for you. I am only demanding time and attention. That at the end of the day, this is also a very selfless work. So the next divine constitutional value, I can call it, what the hell I wrote here? United. Okay, we can come back later. I will try to come back later to see if I can understand what I. Oh, okay, I understood. You unlimited creativity. Unlimited creativity. I have a Spanish episode about this. It is called Creatividad Infinita. Búscalo en mi canal de YouTube o en Spotify. Derek Israel, Creatividad Infinita. And this is one of my favorite divine values of all time. And I had this for my whole life, but I didn't know it until I really know it. And this is the principle of this value. Creativity is infinite. You can always be creative. And this is a huge deal because maybe you have a business plan in your mind or a creative project and you are kind of stuck. Well, you are just stuck because you are not tapping into the infinite creativity that is just a substance of reality itself. Look around and look how everything that surrounds you is infinitely creative. Infinitely creative. Everything is reproducing, everything is generating, everything is creating. And you are an instrument of this creation. So if you want to take advice from this psychologist and philosopher, please connect with your infinite creativity. No one will be mad at you if you do this. Well, that is not true. A lot of people will be mad at you for doing this because they will say, "Oh my gosh, how this person creates so much." And when you create so much, you will definitely create some things that people will not like and some people will find horrible. But that's good because you are not trying to please everybody. You are trying just to be an infinite creator because you are. And that is one of the things that I teach my students in my course, how to be a top content creator. That is for the people that wants to do a podcast, that want to share their message in social media, that wants to create a movement in the metaverse and becoming an influencer. So if that is you, go to the description below and go to my courses. There's the link and just read the information about how to be a top content creator and enroll in that course. But one of the most profound things that I share with them, with those students, is that, hey, don't block yourself about creating in social media because you are an infinite creator. And I teach them how to connect with this truth of their life. But I'm telling you, boy, if you dare to engineer this value in your life, if you don't have it already, you will become very dangerous in a positive way, because you will be able to create exactly what society needs to evolve. And at the end of the day, what is more beautiful to what is more beautiful than to help society evolve to their next level, to our next stage of consciousness and socialization and government? And you have the responsibility of doing this. The next divine constitutional value is divine beauty. Divine beauty. So I have a couple of episodes that I can recommend you. I have a Spanish, two of the Spanish ones will be El arquetipo del amante, is one of them. You can search on my YouTube channel, El arquetipo del amante. Y el otro sería Belleza. Derek Israel, Belleza, en mi canal de YouTube. And very, very soon, I will be doing an episode that is called The Trap of Beauty. That also in that episode, I will be touching some very important points around beauty, because beauty with capital B is whatever is beautiful, wonderful, amazing, extraordinary, artistic in life. And guess what? Everything is beautiful, man. If you learn how to see, if you learn how to see, you can see God and his beauty in this book, in these pages that I'm showing you in my screen. If you are watching the video, in every letter, you will see infinite beauty in every color, red, white, black, in every form, in every smell, even those smells that you consider gross, like for example, like maybe your sweat, or maybe I don't know, maybe your dog when it's not well, when it's not very clean. Well, if you can concentrate deeply enough and spiritual enough, you can find beauty in that odor. Now, you will not find pleasure. Maybe pleasure and beauty is not the same. Pleasure is to find, you know uh, a sense of liking and a sense of enjoying a thing. Beauty is more than that. Beauty is recognition. Beauty is recognizing that God is present in everything. And by God being present on everything, everything is beautiful. And if you can recognize that, you will be living a life that permits you to create your greatest art. Because, hey, at the end of the day, everything is so beautiful. How you cannot recreate beauty in your art? That is the eye of the artist. That is the art and the eye of the poet, of the philosopher, of the religious man and woman, of the medicine man. Medicine is beauty. Psychology is beauty. Art is beauty. Oratory is beauty. And beauty is everything around you if you learn how to see. Oh, that was very beautiful, huh? Did you recognize beauty in those words? Well, okay, congratulations, but also recognize beauty when you are listening to your professor that maybe he's very boring talking. He's talking like, right. So, ladies and gentlemen, recognize beauty on that. Recognize beauty on on people that are obese. Recognize beauty on people that are bald. Recognize beauty on people that are handicapped. Recognize beauty on sickness. Can you recognize the beauty of sickness? Can you recognize the beauty on death? Very powerful questions. So that's why this is a very important constitutional value, because then you will become one with beauty if you can engineer this value in your life. The next divine constitutional value will be the cosmic responsibility. A responsibility with the cosmos, to be the cosmos, to lift the cosmos in your shoulders, to unite the cosmos. Do you want that responsibility? Do you know why Spider-Man it is not the best superhero in the Marvel story or universe? Because he's running away from this constitutional value. Spider-Man is always running away from responsibility. So the day that Spider-Man really acknowledge his responsibility and become one with the fact that he is the cosmos and he's responsible for what happened in the universe and he's in peace with that, Spider-Man finally is a hero, or more than a hero, he's a god. But the whole Spider-Man journey is to try to deny his responsibility. He's trying to deny his power. That's why he's vulnerable. And it's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. But in his case, it's not good to be vulnerable, because if you're fighting an robotic octopus, you should be strong, man. You should be responsible to put down that bad octopus. Do you understand the metaphor for you, for your life? So are you ready to take on your responsibility in the universe? Are you ready for this? This is a good question. Are you ready to take responsibility in your life purpose? Are you ready to take responsibility in your business? In every part of your business? And remember, business is a multidimensional thing. Business have areas of financing, marketing, human resources, a social responsibility, a political responsibility, an innovation responsibility. Are you ready to take responsibility in every aspect of your life? Yes or no? If not, okay, good luck with your personal development. But if the answer is yes, well, then you need to examine, is this a value for you? Or if it is this a constitutional value for you? And if it is not, how can you engineer that to become part of your core being? How you can start becoming more responsible in everything in life. The next divine constitutional value will be, and this is the last one, and then I have a bonus, eternal humor. eternal humor, the capacity to laugh, the capacity to make other people laugh, the capacity to entertain. And I have a very good episode on Spanish about this that is called El arquetipo del bufón. Búscalo en mi canal de YouTube si quieres saber más de cómo usar el humor en tu vida existencial. Humor, folks, sometimes we discard humor as a very important aspect of the personal development journey. But hey, at the end of the day, the personal development journey is just an infinite laugh. That's it. It's an infinite laugh. If this is not fun for you, if doing this work, it is not bloody fun for you, why are you doing this in the first place then? I was just reading a book a couple of days ago. I think it is called The Power of Fun. The Power of Fun. Sorry, I have my throat a little bit weird today. I hope that I'm not getting sick because my wife and my baby girl, they are sick today and yesterday. And man, I don't want to get sick because I don't want to get hoarse. I want to continue the podcast in the rhythm, that we are transforming the world. We are doing the most transformative podcast in the world. And if I don't have my voice, I don't have nothing. Because podcast is about your voice. So I want to pray God today. But what I was about to tell you, anyways, I forgot. But eternal humor. Sometimes we tend to discard humor as a part of personal development, but it's just essential. We can call this the power of fun. If you are not having fun in personal development, what are you doing? At the end of the day, this is the most entertaining thing in the world. Yes, I now I remember what I was about to tell you. I was yesterday meditating in the wild, in the desert, and I was thinking about how fun it is to grow. Because I was there meditating, and I was asking myself, who wants this? Who want this type of life? Because I am doing a podcast about personal development, about spiritual expansion, but at the end of the day, I am here in a desert, looking around, meditating, and most people in a morning, if they have a free morning, they are like watching Netflix, and they are watching their favorite artist, or they are just going to a party or to drink some beers. They are doing something that is kind of very fun. Like, it is very fun. I used to do it a lot. I used to drink beer like crazy and stuff like that. And that is very fun, I know. But sometimes to be in a desert, that is not like very fun. But I was thinking, no, it is not. It is very fun. I'm having so much fun just meditating here. This is so entertaining for me. This is almost like a video game, almost like watching a movie, almost like watching my favorite singer. That type of fun. To grow, to expand is very, very fun. And this is the eternal humor. If you cannot find the funness, the entertainment part of life, and to laugh about it, and to turn the drama into a comedy and to laugh about it, you are missing an essential part of the playfulness of life. Life is about to play. Life is about to have fun. It's an essential part of God. And in the future, I will be doing more content about the power of fun. Let me just put it here in my list. because then I forget, and I will not forget anymore. I will do an episode, I don't know when, but I will do a Power of Fun episode. Oh, sorry guys, my ya estamos. Okay, sorry. My father-in-law and mother-in-law, they are arriving, and so they were asking me to open the gate for them. Um let me just tell my wife. Cristal, tus papás llegaron. Levántate. Hey, wake up, Crystal. Your fathers are here. Your parents are here. Anyways, let's finish this because I need to go. So yeah, eternal humor, eternal funness. What is the bonus? This is the bonus one, man. And this is an episode also. A very, 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 very important constitutional value and divine constitutional value that you can engineer is what I call the perpetual energy. And I have an episode on English that is called You Are the Perpetual Motion Machine. One of the most important episodes of all time that you need to hear in this podcast. It is called You Are the Perpetual Motion Machine. Just look on it, look for it in YouTube or Spotify. And this is a very divine constitutional value because this is how you connect with infinite energy. We can call it also infinite drive. We can call this also life purpose. And I have a course of life purpose if you want in derekisrael.com. But hey, at the end of the day, man, energy is so infinite. Energy is impossible to destroy energy. We know that from physics. So we as humans, yes, we feel sometimes tired and with limited energy. But as spiritual beings in our core, in our divine morality, in our divine constitutional values, man, we don't have finitude of energy. We have infinite energy, infinite drive. And if you can tap into it and connect to this every day, you will feel so driven to accomplish your goals. And you can connect with this value by meditating, by understanding your nature, by studying the environment. Hey, one of the most profound things that I have been learning by studying ecology is the power of energy. So go and study ecology. Go and study the nature of the environment, natural environments, and the cosmos, because you will be learning about energy, but that energy is also your energy. It's your personal energy. Universal energy is personal energy. It's the same. So you can tap into this unlimited energy that is always expanding. The universe is always expanding. The universe is always moving. All the bodies in the universe are evolving, recreating, and all of this demands energy. This infinite energy is also in your body. You can call this sexual energy. Notice how your sexual energy is always present, always there. Even if you have a low libido, you have sexual energy. And I will be doing an episode soon about you are sexual energy. Yeah, so many episodes to come. This is getting crazy, guys. I just told the group that I have on Telegram related to this podcast. If you want to join our group, it's free. You can go to the description and just go to the link that says Telegram group. And I was telling those people yesterday that one of the reasons that I did this podcast, this challenge, again, every Monday through Friday, is because I had a huge list of potential episodes, right? And I thought, okay, if I do the podcast challenge, I will be able to remove and to shorten that list. But what is going on and what is happening is that the list is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's like it's infinite. Every step that I do forward, every step that I take forward, like 1,000 steps creates themselves in potential. So it's like the more that I move forward, more forward movement I can do. That is infinite energy. That is infinite drive. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I will never end this podcast, folks. Even if I finish the podcast, I will never end the podcast. Even if I do a final episode, the podcast will forever continue in energy because people will continue listening to it. They will formulate new ideas. They will recreate their own episodes with some of my ideas. So the energy that was stored in this episode will transpass and transfer to other brains, and other brains will create other things, and these will create values, and you will transfer these values to your children and to your children to your children. And this whole energy that is stored in this mastermind podcast is forever, is infinite. And the whole energy that I needed to do this work is infinite as well. And the whole energy that you need to have in order to continue developing your personal development with these ideas and with other ideas, that is infinite as well. Everything is infinite. Energy is infinite. You are infinite. The cosmos is infinite. And this is an infinite constitutional value that you can develop and manifest in your life. Is this deep enough for you? Are we going deep enough? And remember, the Mastermind podcast, this is medium level difficulty. This is not the end. I will be doing another project, another product for more advanced topics. So stay tuned, my friend. Please remember to listen to the first part if you haven't done it yet. It is called Discover Your Constitutional Values. Remember, also listen Moralidad Divina. Listen the episode about Ética Perfecta. Remember that you need to do a list of your constitutional values and then to do a list of the divine constitutional values that you want to engineer in your life because they have a transcendental component, a transcendental element, and you need it to become whole and integrated. Those are your tasks for today. You have a lot to do. You have a lot to grow. Please share your comments below. I will be reading what you have to say. I just want to know your opinion. If you have something that you need to share, if you have something that you want to express, if you discover some of your divine constitutional values and you want to say, hey, Derek, I discovered this one, or you can add this to the list, please share those informations. Please share that. If you arrive to this point of the podcast, if you got here, please share your thoughts. That is part of the correspondence principle, and I have an episode on that in Spanish that is called El Principio de Correspondencia. Búscalo en mi canal de YouTube, te va a cambiar la vida. So yes, guys, I'm out for today. Also, I want to remind you that this podcast is entirely free, and I love it. And I love it to do it for free because so many people, they don't have the economical means to grow as hell as they do with this podcast. But in order for me to continuing doing this free content, I need to be able to be self-sustainable. So one of the strategies that I have implemented in the podcast to be self-sustainable is to create a Patreon account. A Patreon account is a place in which you can donate only $5 per month. And by donating $5 per month, you are helping us to become more self-sustainable in the long term. And we can continue doing this information, this podcast, and reaching thousands of lives that are doing positive things in the world. So if you want to contribute and help us, just go to the link below and become a Patreon supporter by donating only $5 per month. Thank you for that. And also visit derekisrael.com. In derekisrael.com, you will find everything that you need, every solution that you need for your personal development. I am creating more. I am creating more courses. I am creating more books. I am creating more services. But the ones that I have now is sufficient for you to start working with me in a more personal level. Maybe you want coaching, individual one-on-one with me. Hey, there you can book a appointment. You want maybe a consulting service. There you can book the appointment. Maybe you want to know your life purpose. Well, you can enroll in my life purpose course. Maybe you want to learn how to self love better. You can enroll in my self love master class. Maybe you want to learn how to meditate. You can enroll in my meditation course. Maybe you want to know how to do content and to express yourself in social media and to create your own podcast. Well, then you can enroll in my How to Be a Top Content Creator course. Maybe you want to know how to be a master in bed. So maybe you can enroll in the Sexual Mastery course. All right. Maybe you want to read something awesome. Maybe you can buy one of my books that I'm about to launch very soon. Very, very soon. So, hey, visit derekisrael.com. For me, it's a pleasure to serve you. And tomorrow we come back with more stupendous content. Also, don't forget to share this content because by sharing, you help me to transform